We continue to track the spread of the coronavirus in Nueces County. The county reporting 7 new cases today. There were no COVID-related deaths reported. 77 people are currently hospitalized, with 26 of those in ICU. 2 local elementary schools have shut their doors this weekend following separate outbreaks of the virus. The latest coming this afternoon as officials with the West Oso ISD have announced the closure of JFK Elementary. The school principal says an employee tested positive today, and out of an abundance of caution, they're moving students to remote learning until further notice. The building will be sanitized in the meantime. It was just yesterday that Corpus Christi ISD announced the 1-week closure of T.G. Allen Elementary after they learned of 5 positive COVID-19 tests in just 1 day. Allen Elementary expected to be open back up on Monday, November 16th. And Ben Bolt Polito Blanco ISD announced on Facebook this evening that it will be closing the elementary and high school campuses through the end of the week. On Friday, the district sent a letter home to parents that said a student athlete had tested positive for COVID-19 and is currently quarantining. Students will now shift to virtual learning for 1 week. Curbside meals will still be available from 10 in the morning until 1 p.m.